Hi.
I'm nervous.
Me too.
No, we just have to do it.
Okay. What's it about? Is it about me or is it about just us? We're back recording together.
I don't know. I don't know what it should be at this point. What do you want it to be?
Well, I was ready to talk about the separation and divorce and stuff and where I am, but if we want to do just like a
let's just start recording and then whatever. I don't know. The show can be whatever it needs to be.
Okay. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. Obviously, Autumn is back. We are recording an episode together again after a couple weeks of... Again, they weren't supposed to be vague updates. I just didn't want to present any information without you here.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of it was yours to tell and, ours to tell and not me to set things up or present things just from my point of view. I don't even know.
Your updates were, sorry, I'm already upset. Your updates were really good. I thought that they were like, even though they were kind of vague. Well, not kind of, they were vague, but I don't know. I felt like the stuff you do like that always has a lot of, like a heart behind it. I'm sorry, this is annoying.
It's not annoying. Look, this is going to be difficult. I don't even know what this episode is going to be. I think when you and I were talking about recording a few more episodes and then trying to figure out what is to come of the podcast after that, I laid out an idea of how we could break it down. But this episode doesn't need to jump right into that. This can be just another, maybe not as vague update as mine were, but it's going to be hard and emotional. And I think the reason I wanted to record these things is, as stated many times before, the show has been about our dynamic. I think that the show, while sometimes we were talking about lighter subjects, it was still honest and open, and some of the better shows where we admitted things about our lives, were personal. But I think putting it out there and being authentic is when this show is at its best. And I hope that people can listen to this and take something from it. By putting this on display, and display is not even the right thing, as if it's some kind of manufactured presentation that we're putting out there. It's just, revealing and sharing, I guess.
Well, about, I don't feel like there were times, in the past 2 weeks where I was like, forget it. I don't owe anybody anything. But then I thought, well, we do kind of owe the audience at least authenticity. And I mean, I think both of us want to explain what's going on, just because I think if I, as a listener, had invested in, two people, and not like anyone's actually, but, like emotionally invested, and then all of a sudden it was just like pulled away and I didn't get any explanation, and it seemed like a little bit of gossip to know or something, I would want to know, and so I want to do that. I want to give that.
Well, we are lucky enough that some people did care to the point where they were emotionally invested. And I had people reach out just from the past.
Yeah, me too.
Past couple recordings, wanting to make sure everything was okay. And yeah, it felt shitty to just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I do think, what do you care about us for? Come on, get out of here.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's touching.
It's really nice.
It can be touching that people care enough. So, there's been a long arc here over the past year and a half or so. And even in the pre-show, or very short pre-show leading into this episode, you mentioned, maybe you were ready to talk about what happened with Travis and your marriage. I mean, we can just set this up. Again, I'm sure that people figured things out. It's not like
Sure.
it was so much of a secret, but you separated from Travis. You and I dated. You and I broke up. And it's the most basic of the arc. And when I was talking about doing 3 more episodes, I thought about going more in depth into your separation, impending divorce. And then that would have been 1 episode. And, you talk about what you were feeling and what got you to certain places. And then the next episode could have been about us dating. And then the last one about our breakup, demise, as I texted it, our demise, our subsequent demise. And we can still follow that format. If you don't want to jump into it today, that's fine. I think, maybe us easing into it is fair. So this doesn't need to be a full episode on any of those topics.
Yeah. I do want to talk about it. I want to talk about my side of the separation and divorce. But I want to also be respectful. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into anything that Travis isn't listening, but if he did, that he would be hurt by or feel like that's not how it happened, or like he has no voice, so I'm not going to be vague for that episode, but I am going to talk about, where I was, and not about me and him.
That's fair. I don't think anyone wants it to be trashy. This isn't going to be
no.
A trashy talk show where you air all this shit that's one-sided and exaggerated and you're trying to sway people to your side. I mean, the truth of the matter is either both people are right, both people are wrong, both people are neither. These things just happen. It doesn't need to be, in some instances, it's very clear there's a bad person, but that's not the case.
No.
With this. There's not a bad person. And I think it's fair for you to present things with that understanding. The disclaimer is thrown out there that, hey, I'm just telling you this. I'm not trying to sway your opinion in any way.
Right. Mm-mm.
And yes, there is another side of the story, but you can be respectful about that. And, even us talking through all of this past your separation, that's the way I want to approach it. There's going to be feelings that are stirred. Obviously, you and I had some difficulties in which we couldn't record together for a few weeks.
Right.
And, within that, there are people. I tried to constantly understand both sides. And this is stuff, this is where we're going to get a little vague in this episode. And we will get to this. But, I tried to understand both sides. But, when your feelings are involved, you can have the understanding, logical understanding, but also like, hey, I feel like shit right now. And these are the reasons why. And I put that on you. And you surely did the same with me. So, either of us right or wrong? No, I don't think so. But, are there things that could have been handled differently? Sure. But that's
and I don't think either of us are going to try and convince anyone listening who did things right or wrong.
I should have done that over the past couple weeks.
Yeah, you could have.
I should have set it up.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I didn't want to do that.
Thanks.
And then that bowl broke.
Oh, what kind of message from the universe was that?
Yeah, that was pretty strange as I'm talking.
I'm telling you, when I was listening to that, I was just like, I was getting ready. I was like, okay, what's this one going to be like? What's it going to make me feel like? And then when that bowl fell, my mouth was on the floor. My jaw was on the floor.
Part of me
I stopped what I was doing. Like I looked like a statue because it was so shocking.
Part of me wanted to stop the recording, and
I'm glad you didn't.
Well, I thought about it in the moment. I was like, no, this is some weird thing that happened, and to me feels representative of things going to shit. Because in that there are, then that bowl, there were a couple things you'd given me, and we've surely explored my sentimental attachment to inanimate objects.
Mm-hmm.
And it really unsettles me. And I told the story quickly about the watch that fell on the subway tracks because I was going insane when I lost that watch. I was like, yeah, of course this happened because that was a gift and this relationship is shit right now. And I don't know why I felt as though I needed to get it back. And I hung around for hours trying to get this watch back. It wasn't that expensive of a watch, but it's what it meant. And the items in there were scattered about my apartment. And I had to go crawling around to find everything once I was done recording.
A metaphor.
So anyway, you said, apologized at the beginning for crying. If you cry, you cry.
Yeah.
I know that it's uncomfortable to present that to people and put it out there.
Yeah. And it's difficult to speak through it and to access sometimes how you're feeling because you're upset, or hearing someone else because you can't because you're too upset. And I that's not where I am right now. But, you start crying and you think, am I going to be able to handle whatever's coming? But I don't know. It feels calmer now.
You can't avoid things. I'm not saying you. I mean, we both have avoidant tendencies, surely. But when, things don't feel good, there is a fear. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I don't know what's going to happen. So you avoid it. And facing it head on, presenting it this way, hopefully will be helpful for someone listening, even one person. Or anyone else who, if they're not currently going through such a thing, everyone has at some point and will again probably. And I don't know. I don't know if we can really convey the message that things will be fine when it's all said and done. But, maybe they will be fine. They will.
Everything is always fine. Everything eventually is always fine.
They'll be fine, but they can be changed. And... I don't know what our relationship looks like in the future. And I don't know what this show looks like. I like doing this podcast. I want to continue to do this podcast. And maybe we can get to a place where we continue. I know it's strange because it's just about topics. Sometimes those topics are socks or pizza. But it was a show with an underlying thread of love, and maybe that changes to hate, and then it's just driven. It's still a feeling.
Sure.
I don't know what
we just argue about some minuscule portion of a topic because we hate each other.
Yeah, I don't know what a topic on. We could just revisit all the topics and redo them.
We need to redo some of those.
Which ones?
Oh, plenty.
What do you mean by this? The past several months, some shows were very difficult.
Yeah.
Over the last several months, we weren't talking about any of this, which became shitty, by the way. I was trying to give you some space to work through things before we ever broke up. It's like I had to keep this secret. I was a secret.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
No, I know you're not. But thinking back, it's like, yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll get into that.
It wasn't like, it didn't need to be kept a secret. It just kind of still was. And then, I don't know. It just still was. And then it wasn't going well. And then it felt weird to talk about. Let's talk about it now. Yeah,
it's a shame. There was a part where it was great and you couldn't even celebrate. We couldn't even celebrate it on here. But
so I'm sorry about that.
Well, again, I'm not looking to make
I know
you
you're
feel
not,
bad.
but I still feel, I feel like you could have spoken up, or I could have paid attention more. It's either one.
Well, we'll get into that stuff in one of the
Yeah.
future episodes.
Yeah.
Look, if that's annoying for someone listening, I apologize, but this stuff has to be revealed at our own pace, and we could just jump ahead. But I think the idea is to give context and build this and set it up instead of just jumping randomly into feelings that were a part of a specific moment in the relationship and then exploring that right now. It's like that it's not really the way I would like to do it.
No, it doesn't make sense. Like storyline.
So yeah, some of those, I mean, there was the show where we couldn't even do the episode. You didn't want to do the episode.
Oof.
And there was a show about dicks where I just fucking shut down and couldn't do the episode. Yeah. I mean, as far as content goes, there was a bunch of junk.
Those two are really representative of the end, I feel like. You know?
Well, and then a lot of the other ones, before we even started recording, there were discussions. And it was hard to get into the recording.
So hard.
And then I guess the one episode that I directed people to go listen to, Autumn and Greg, that I feel like that's a prerequisite listen for a lot of this, because it wasn't lies. Well, there was denial within it. The story about us being friends and our history, all that was real, but there was a lot of, we've been friends for this long, and no, nothing's ever happened. No, we have never even kissed, and we hadn't. But that wasn't a lie per se. But I think there was a lot of avoidance and denial in that episode.
I mean, coming from, who I've figured out, things about myself that I've figured out through this separation and divorce and our relationship are that I am a very avoidant partner. And that's not just to say that I'm avoidant in a relationship. And that doesn't mean like ignoring everything. It's all kinds of things. But that also means within myself, like I don't pay attention to hard feelings, or I don't pay attention to feelings that might make someone else feel something that makes me uncomfortable. And so I avoid those feelings or I sweep them away. And so, especially during that episode, I was not ready to face the things that I was feeling, about my marriage, about my life, about you. So, yeah, thinking back on thinking right now of listening to that episode makes me want to kill myself. Like embarrassed, sort of, not ashamed, but like just really embarrassed.
Well, you and me both. I don't go back and listen to any of our episodes because they make me feel ashamed and embarrassed no matter what the topic is.
Oh.
I can't do it. I'm like, you're an idiot. I can't believe you said that. But that episode in particular.
So let's talk about how we're different, because when I listen back to an episode that I liked, I'll be like thinking about the thing that I would say next, and then I say it, and then I'm like, yeah, good one.
Maybe I would do the same, I guess. I don't know. I can't listen back. You are avoidant in plain sight. That's the interesting thing about you. You pretend. I'm all about talking about feelings. Let's put everything on
pretend.
the line. Well, okay. Sure. Pretend's not fair, but like I'm all
about other people's feelings. It's just my own are the problem. So that's the plain sight, is that like I'm not an avoidant person who, like, look it up, avoidant partners, avoidant personality, whatever. You'll see that a lot of times they don't understand feelings or they don't recognize them. And that's not me.
You're not an alien, you're saying, even though you were attracted to aliens for a long time.
Yeah, to Data.
You were attracted
Data was a huge crush on Data.
Yeah, because you thought, with this person, I won't ever have to deal. You said you're interested in other people's feelings. Unless it's a person close to you whose feelings are tied to you and you have an impact on their feelings, and then suddenly you're not interested in their feelings.
It's not that I'm interested. It's that I need for you not to feel that way, and I need to fix it, which is an avoidant person thing to do. So, but I'm aware, and I'm trying to like...
I know. Look, this is not supposed to be an attack on you, obviously.
No, I know it's not. I'm just saying that I am aware of these things. I'm not doing things perfectly. But and this isn't like the alcoholic saying like, I know I'm an alcoholic, so fuck it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm realizing that this is me and I need to pay attention so that, and talk about it and think about it so that when things do come up, maybe I don't have the ability yet to change it, but I do have the ability to recognize it and pay attention to it instead of not recognize it and therefore not pay attention to it, which got me to a place in my marriage that led to divorce.
It's all right. You feel embarrassed by that?
Yeah, it's been only the last couple months that I've been able to even say divorce. Like, I just want to always say, like, we broke up.
Why is that?
But,
or we can save this. But
well, it's a scary, hard thing to think about yourself.
does it feel like a failure?
Maybe. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. Maybe we can get into it. No, let's wait. We'll wait.
Okay. We'll wait.
Well, I mean, it's also hard for me to talk about because there are things from, going back then as just a person who cared about you as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that, I guess I saw or thought, but it's hard to, it's difficult for me to talk about now because now, it would be easy for me to just sound like some scorned ex. But this would be, if there are things that I the reason I'm also saying maybe not now is because I didn't think about how I would discuss things and I have to figure out how I would like to present them. If they come up, I don't have a list of things. Like, that's your show for the most part. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as a person who knew you, I guess there's going to be things that I would like to point out or say. And, you talking about it being a failure. It's like, was it a failure? It actually existed exactly the way you wanted it to exist. It's just at some point, it's like, that's not really what I want. So I don't know if that's a failure because it was a success for what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. And that's another thing about me. Like, if you want to call it being in plain sight, where it's like, yeah, this is exactly what you want, right? Like, kind of. Turns out, not really.
All right. So we'll spend some time. I'm going to spend some time. I think you've probably already spent time thinking about how you want to present that. But all right, that's next week we'll record that episode. Mm-hmm. We'll do these next 3, and then we'll see what happens. I really would like to continue doing this podcast.
Me too.
It was strange. I heard on the air, on the Von Hessler Doctrine the other day, Eric was running through everyone's podcasts, and he asked if you were even still doing this one.
Yeah, I was like, kinda.
Yeah, that wasn't nice. Not what you said. Like, I thought the feeling. I was like, yeah, that sucks. I like doing this, but okay. So I don't know. I feel like that's a nice update for this week.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to say.
No, I appreciate everybody, if you're still here, like dealing, because I don't know, life does happen and we're 2 people in a life and this happened. And I think it would be a disservice to get through it and then pretend like nothing is different. So, yeah, I needed to take those 2 weeks, to be comfortable and open, because I feel like you and I, my thing with our show is that I can be open. And there were, a lot, those 2 weeks or whatever that I just could not, I wasn't in a settled place where I felt like I could be open with you again. So, I'm glad that I'm feeling more comfortable. And I hope that everyone's okay with us taking that time.
Well, most
to get there,
If it makes you feel any better, there's we got a nice review that said, in essence, Greg doing a show alone. I don't think so. That would suck. So, though I never said I was going to carry on the show alone. I was just stating things. And
someone left a review like that?
Yeah. Someone said, no way. And they told me to apologize to you, just assuming that I had done something.
Oh.
And said I should apologize to you because I can't make friends and it's easier for you to make friends.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened.
So I'm sure you put someone up to that, or someone in your circle said, I'll show him.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't believe that. So
I know you don't.
Okay. I mean, if you
never know what people believe when they listen to stuff.
If you want to promote the hot sauce, which is weird, it's, you can do it.
Maybe we don't have a sponsor for this episode.
I mean, I still promoted the hot sauce. I just didn't run the ad.
It was funny.
Which it's fine. Why do we still do it?
I don't know.
I mean, you want to help a friend.
Because supporting my friend.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. So go buy Hoff and Pepper sauce. Delish. One topic 15.
Yep, do it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome. Thank you.